So, welcome once again to Raising the Consciousness of Humanity. I am super excited today. I have Jaime Marco, my good friend. Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Hi, Ron. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I love connecting with you anytime. So thank you for having me.
I am going to read a couple of little things that I jotted down. Not a
Ooh.
huge intro because people are going to get to know you just from this podcast. And the first thing I want to do is to say it to all of our people watching this out there. I know you hear this every time you watch a podcast, but please subscribe. It helps the logarithm, which I don't even know what that word means, but I hear that all the time, and it's supposed to really boost like this video and as well as the channel. So I'd be so blessed because you know what? People like Jamie really rock the world. And the things that she shares, which you're going to really hear today, I think you're going to find very practical, very meaningful, and yeah, it's going to be uplifting. So Jaime Marco is the creator of Unfunked, keynote speaker, and a connection catalyst. And she is also on the National Speakers Association of Central Florida Board of Directors, serving as the marketing and communications chair. So, yeah, Jamie, what's going great in your life right at this moment?
Oh my goodness, there's so many things to be grateful for. I'm going to change the statement. I know that it's not about, I don't look at it as things that are going great. I just look at things that I should be grateful for, right? Every day there's
Yeah.
like something where you're like, I call it funk, and you're like, oh my gosh. But then I remind myself what I'm grateful for. And I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that we're having this conversation, that I get to have you as a friend and as a
Yeah.
colleague. I'm grateful that, my daughter is doing great. I'm my husband, my parents. Like, I'm just grateful for so many things, my friends, that I get to do this every day as my job. So there's so many incredible things that I'm
Mm.
grateful for. I think sometimes if I have to focus on like what's going great, I don't know, for some reason for me, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of pressure. So I like to switch it and say what I'm grateful for because those things are always constant and help me get through some of the funk that shows up when
Yeah, that's perfect because you know what? The things that we're grateful for perhaps are those things that really are great. And
Yeah,
and so and you know what else is great is the fact that you just came out with a brand new book,
I
Unfucked.
did. I did. It's so bizarre to see it. And it's so cool to be an author, first of all. I've wanted to do this for a long time, but the best part is when you literally unbox your
Mm.
book. You've had a few books, so that moment where you hold it in your hand, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I did this." Yes. Yes,
I,
as of like end of 2025, the book is out. Yeah.
yeah, and then you put a lot into this. I
Yeah.
like the cover. I like the Scrabble. I like the quiet, the noise, ignite the light. That's
Hmm.
powerful there too. And as I was reading in the chapters, just so that give a little flavor to some of the people listening right at this moment, that the chapters are great. The
Thank you.
intro, before the moves, get the mindset,
Hmm.
and then bring the vibe, be the vibe, pause with purpose. There's so many gems of wisdom here.
Thank
Be
you.
intentional by default. And
Yeah.
I'm going to have you expand a little bit about that, but before we go there, like a little bit about you, Jamie. What inspired you to be a speaker, to write this book?
Sure.
Um, what is it that called you in your life? You know, did the sky open up one day and a bolt of lightning strike you on the head, or
Pretty
what
much.
is it? Yeah,
I
what
mean,
is it?
my parents would tell you that I came out of the womb motivating and inspiring people and talking.
Yeah.
But it's been like a really evolving journey. My background is in hospitality and sales, nonprofit fundraising. I mean that runs the gamut, my background. And I remember I did a talk for a group years ago. I was at a retreat for college recent graduates and internships. They asked me to speak. And I passed out my resume. I said, how many of you would hire this person? They were like, oh, I don't know. She said a lot of weird, different backgrounds, different jobs. And yet I was always hired because my main focus in life has always been everything I've done is connecting with people. and
Mm,
finding out where they are and helping them feel even better about their situations and uplifting them. And that started really, I would say, my degree in college was interpersonal communications, and that's all about working with people. And then my first job out of college was working on a cruise ship where I had to connect with people. And so over the years, it's just evolved into what I'm doing now. And that is, speaking on stages and working with teams in leadership, sales, and customer experience. And so I've been doing that for over 20 years in all different capacities, all different industries. I work from literally everything from healthcare to education to telecom to engineering to, higher education,
mm,
everything. And then before I wrote the book, I wanted to write the book for a long time. And it really was talking with other speakers and connecting with other people saying, it's time, like write a book, write a book.
mm.
And I really wanted to write something different. I didn't want to be a book on a shelf that was about leadership, that was about sales, that was about customer experience. I wanted it to be where it mimicked what I do in life and when I speak and meet people where they are and help them figure out what they need next. So the book needed to be different. And I think it is. I am an 80s, I grew up in the 80s, born in the 70s, but I was a choose your own adventure book kind of a girl where some people may know what that is. And it was where you would turn to the end of a chapter and it would say, if you feel this way, rescue the princess and turn to this page. If you want to fight the dragon, turn to that page. And I kind of felt like that's how life is. And that's how what I teach about the funk and getting rid of it and shedding the funk is for me. So I wanted to help others in that same capacity. So the book is a choose your own adventure book, and you talked about a few of the different chapters, but really it came from a place of wanting to help even more people and to put what I teach into writing. That was a long story long. So there you go.
That's good though. That's perfect. And yeah, I do notice you actually have a natural sense of connection, like you're a caring soul. I know
Yeah.
even like from getting texts and emails and communication from you, just the way you position that caring about me as well as some of the other people that we're connected to, it's natural for you. And
Thank
actually, as a speaker, speakers really aren't effective if they can't even be make a connection from the stage. And I see that that's something that is again very natural for something that you do. The word unfunked, and
Mhm.
it's funny because I was look when I went back and looked at this again, I saw the word fun in there. It just popped out
Yeah.
of
Well, I'm
my mind.
glad you saw that and not a different F word because some people are like mispronounce it.
But give us your definition. Okay, what is
Yeah.
funked? What is unfunked? Like, give us a overall definition for that word.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. So I tell a story about the funk, and you have to shed the funk, and that's for another time. But funk is essentially for me, and I'll get to the unfunk. Funk is really about anything that's going on in your world that's creating noise that's not necessary.
Hmm.
And we have people that give us funk. We have, colleagues, friends, family, neighbors. We have the world itself. You turn on the news any moment, and the stories are just so devastating that you're getting funk from that. And so I have talked for years about shedding your funk and shaking it off. Now, can I get rid of it? No. If I had a magic spell to get rid of the funk, I would be a very wealthy woman because I would probably give it out for free. But, we can't get rid of the funk, but we can get unfunked each day by shining an even brighter light on the things that matter even more than what the funk is doing for us. There's so many books out there talking about, Mel Robbins, for example, let them, right? Let other people be them. We can't fix other people. And I agree with that. So what we can do is that we have the funk and we can get unfunked. And the ways that we do that is, one is a physical way of shutting it off and shaking sometimes.
Hmm.
But really, the concept of unfunk is undoing the funk that keeps showing up for you. And what does that look like? And specifically, where I find a lot of it showing up today is that we are no longer real with one another. And what I mean by that is that we're watching so much online of things that are happening in other people's lives that we're comparing ourselves to them. You see somebody who maybe is your same age, but wow, you see them on Instagram and they have no wrinkles, no this, they look perfect, but they're using filters a lot of times. And so
Yeah.
we see the real REEL and not the real REAL. And part of my book was about let's get rid of that funk that is not real. We dare to compare ourselves to others. Stop comparing yourself.
Hmm.
We don't ask for help anymore because we think, wait a second, no one else is asking for help. So normalize asking for help. And so unfunked is a little bit of all of that. And I love that you saw the word fun in there because life is too short not to have fun.
Mm.
And when we start realizing that things aren't as serious as they need to be, we can have more fun, we can shed the funk and get unfunked. So it's a made up word. It's not a real word. It
Yeah,
has been trademarked. Like I literally wanted to spell it. I didn't want to have it as an ED. I want it to be something totally unique and different. That's why it's like with the T and it's different.
yeah.
I wanted it to be memorable so people could say, you know what? Yeah, I can think outside the box when the funk shows up.
And you're the unfunked person, and you've
I
got the hat.
am. I do. I have the hat, so I'm the official unfunked human. I talk about all the time. My husband and I say we need to get unfunked today. Or listen, like I always tell people, it's okay right now to not be okay. There's a lot going on in the world, no matter what you believe in. There's a lot going on in everyone's in your own world too, and so it's okay to not be okay. But it's also okay to like figure out how you get unfunked because when we show up not okay, then and don't know where to go with it, it's just it can be drowning. So you got to figure out your way to get
Yeah.
out.
So yeah, I like that you shared that. That's like a step, almost like a step one. It's okay to not be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes people go into that feeling of okay, what's wrong with me? What's broken? But if it's okay, it's almost like self-love. Beginning there, it's like it's honoring the self that, oh, it's okay you know, to not have it all together.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what's so funny is that like I do talk about like all the fakeness that's on social media, but there's also a lot of real good stuff, real good content showing you that you're not alone. That maybe, you and your spouse do something or your kid does something. There's so much content out there that you can relate to show you that it's okay to not be okay. That you just want to go like there's new scream clubs where they go Navy Pier in Chicago and they just all go out there together and they scream at the top of their lungs. The fact that someone else feels that way, I felt that way where we just want to be like, so it's just you have to like balance that, right? And realize
yeah,
that, we're all feeling the pressure of different things. And when we get unfunked and the 11 micro moves help you focus on how to do that for you.
I don't know if I want to join a screen club.
Hey,
There
it
is
is very therapeutic screaming at the top of your lungs. It
really
feels so good. I think it clears out your lungs too. It's good. It feels good. I'd
there's a
recommend it.
laughter yoga or laughing yoga or
Oh
something.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
I've
gosh, my
seen.
dad and I've done that where it's like, yeah, ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
good. Yeah. It feels
It
so
does.
good.
It shifts your energy. And
Yes.
so, yeah, so the part about getting that, establishing that true heart-centered connection with
Yes.
yourself and with another human being is really like what you're sharing about getting unfunked in so many areas that you hit on.
Yeah.
It's almost like we can't have authenticity, right? If we're so layered by all that other
Mhm.
stuff. What
Yeah.
do you do when somebody like so you're not only speaking on stage, but you're also probably got people that come up to you afterwards and say, and if it's like a company, I'm sure you've probably had that where maybe they've got poor communication, maybe they're still somewhat ego driven, so they're not open
Mhm.
and authentic. Uh, they're probably again, even though they're working within the four walls of the company, the outside noise of what's going on in the world, the social media. I mean, I know I owned a business one time and I tried my best to have my employees not have the cell phones out, but it's like but you still, what do you say to that person, the leader of a team or a company or whatever that says, what's the first place for us to start to try to get unfunked to start to create the momentum in the area that we want?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that we focus so heavily on humans doing things. We've got KPIs, we've got metrics, we have all of that.
Mhm.
We forget the human being side of it. We
Yeah.
forget that people, have a lot going on in their world. And when you can build an even better connection with your team members, not doesn't mean you're gonna be best friends. Like I actually like to tell people there shouldn't be a lot of best friending, or like a lot of that socialization happening on certain sides because some people aren't comfortable with that. But when you get to really understand what's important to somebody, how they like to be led, what they like to be motivated by, how they like to be challenged and grow when you start to focus on the human side of things, then the human doing will take off. But so many companies are just so pressured by deadlines and metrics and KPIs that they forget there are real people behind that with real problems trying to navigate forward. And so you have to meet them on a human level. And I work with a lot of teams where we have different, it's not assessments, but forums that help them figure that out first. And that's how you start to earn the right for the frameworks that help you actually lead forward. But there has to be that foundational piece of really understanding how somebody is showing up first and earning the right to have those conversations. And, it's not about moving faster, it's about moving even better in the right direction. And people need to understand that first. So I don't know if that answered your question or not.
No, I love that. Yeah, it's like we're human beings, not human doings, but we
Yeah.
get caught up so much in our doing that, in the measuring of our doing, and
Mm-hmm.
in being validated by whatever our measurements are.
Right. I
Um,
mean, you have these like
yeah,
and team member assessments, right? Or evaluations, or what are they called? When they do the end of year reviews, something like that. They do them like once a year, this or
yeah,
that. It's like, why are you doing a review once a year? What is the benefit of that? There should be ongoing conversations and coaching throughout the year and talking about, what should I do more of? What should I do less of? How can I support you? But we don't. It's like we check a box. Oh, your evaluation was done. You get this raise or you don't get this raise. It's like that's such a backward way of thinking when
mm,
really people need support throughout the year and perform even better when they feel seen, heard, and understood.
yeah.
So there's that kind of connection.
Now, do you feel when if you're helping somebody with a strategy within like a corporate environment, it's probably got to be somewhat top down, right? Because if it's not embraced by the leadership team, the CEO, the president, or that team that's kind of leading the company, um, it's probably not going to move the needle, right?
It's
That
it's
shift,
kind of
right?
funny. Well, it's
Yeah,
kind of funny because so my thing is that leadership is not a title, it's an attitude. And
yeah,
I do a lot of collaborative work to where I'll bring brought into a service organization that brings in people from different organizations to come in and learn how leadership skills. And so they may not be that, top line leader. And so I have seen it really be very cool where they come in and they say, well, how do I lead this forward? Lead this up? How do I share what I'm learning in here? And I said, it all comes back to conversations. And I have seen organizations where they've had someone come to this leadership cohort that we're doing, and the CEO is not there, but this person has gone back and coached the CEO or the C-suite to what they've learned. So I think it can go a couple
right.
different directions. I think that the most important thing is the awareness side of it. What are we struggling with? Why are we struggling with it? What does that look like? And getting
Yeah,
the right people with the right attitude in line to help share that awareness. It frustrates me beyond belief when someone's like, I'll say, well, how many people, are you responsible for to lead? And they'll say, oh, I've got 20 people under me. I'm like, first of all, no one should be under you, and that must be very
yeah.
uncomfortable. You know, it's not like, who are you responsible for? And I think that, even in a family dynamic, my daughter is younger than me. I've got way more experience than she does, but I learn from her every day about how to be an even better leader and human.
Mm.
So I don't always necessarily think that it's top down. I think that it's everyone's responsible. It's a 360 responsibility of who's showing up and how we're leading and how we're demonstrating those skills moving forward.
I love that answer because I kind of see that the world is getting less of that structure that we used to know, which
Yeah.
was like, the pyramid, that,
I
but
am boss. You listen to me.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the culture is a big thing that's shifting within everything, not just companies, but within everything
Yeah.
that I like you said, connection's a big one.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you really don't have anything.
Yeah.
And sometimes, let me ask you a question. So, if a person is struggling with connection with another, I mean, or maybe even with themselves, that's
Yeah.
good. That could be
Yeah.
going on too.
Yeah.
Where do you normally have them start?
Yeah. So a big part of it is that it's the questions that we ask. And like listen, so people might be amazed by this, but I am very much an extroverted introvert. I don't know if that makes sense. But like you would think, and yes, I interact and I connect with people everywhere I go. I'm always asking questions. But at the same time, like I like my quiet time as well too. And so I always want to make sure that people understand connection isn't about being this like super bubbly person and being want to talk to everybody. It goes back to the intention of the questions that you ask.
Yeah.
And so I start with, I've become the no more how are yous girl, even for yourself as well too. In the morning when I wake up, I ask myself, how am I feeling right now? What's my number on a scale of 1 to 10? Where am I at? And I could be a 1 all the way up to a 10. And what does that look like? But then I ask myself an even more important question. What would it take for me to go from that number to just 0.25 higher?
Mm,
And so that's how I identify with myself first. Like I wake up in the morning, I literally say to myself, how am I feeling right now? What's on my mind? What am I feeling? What's my number? What's it going to take for me to go 0.25 higher today? But
yeah.
then that's why I connect with myself to know where I'm at and what I need in the day. Then with others, it's the same thing. It's like, ask even better questions. I might say to you, hey, Ron, what's your number today?
Yeah.
What's it going to take for you to go point, not like, and I won't judge you for that. If you say you're a 3, I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, you're a 3. Why? Or wow, you're an 8. That's amazing. It's more
Yeah.
that's okay. Thanks for sharing there. That's our starting point. What's it going to take for you to get 0.25 higher today? And that in itself helps me to start to understand you even better versus, hey, Ron, how are you today? Good, great, fine, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it goes back to connecting with yourself even more and connecting with other people even more is about asking even more intentional questions that help you get to understand somebody. We're a lot more alike than we are different. I believe that. And even
Yep.
though we have a lot of differences, but what we don't do is that we don't find those ways to connect on how we're alike, but also to appreciate the differences as well too. That's what
Nice.
connect is about. Yeah.
Nice. I like the number thing because you're right. When we have those general conversational questions that are overused, we don't elicit a true, authentic response.
Correct.
The
Yeah.
how you doing is just good or okay, but by
Yeah.
asking about what number are you, what was it again showing up with? What number are you feeling
Yeah,
today?
what's your number? Just even like, what's your number today? Like, what on a scale of 1 to 10? But you know where it gets even more cool than that, and just my opinion, like this is, this is where I think it really becomes amazing, is that we don't critically think as much anymore. We don't ask strangers, we don't ask people questions. And so when you ask somebody a question that they're not used to getting, it makes them pause. And they
Mm,
literally have to like shift their thinking, be like, wait a second, that's not a question I've been asked before. And so you get people to actually start to reflect and think and feel and understand. And those feelings are so fleeting today. We're just like moving so fast. We're like, go, 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 go. But when we actually ask a question that stops someone in their track, ooh, I've not been asked that before. What do you mean, what's my number? Oh, okay,
yeah.
now I actually have to think about it and I have to reflect. So.
I'm wondering too, can like could that be a practice an individual could do? Like wake up in the morning, what is my number I'm feeling today? Or maybe at the end of the day, like
Yes.
reflecting back and saying, what was this? And then asking that second question, like, how could I make that better? Right?
Yeah. Well, and that is the thing is that like my number changes throughout the day. This morning I woke up, my husband asked me, and I think this morning I told him I was a 4. I just have a lot going on. And he was like, okay, well, what's it going to take to go 0.25 higher? And I told him, he goes, well, that's a big ask to go 0.25 higher. I'm like, it may be for you, but for me, I'm like, that's what it's going to take. And so, like, that's the thing is that understanding we all have different numbers. They're all different numbers for a reason, and our 0.25 is going to be different. But, and then, like, right now, I started at a 4 this morning. I'm at a 7 now. I've had a great, like,
Yeah.
just from this morning, connecting with you is raising my number. And so, and then tonight I'm doing a book tour stop and my number's going to go up higher. And
Nice.
so you just have like your number fluctuates throughout the day and that's okay. That's what life's about.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, you just don't if you're a number one, you don't want to use hand gestures because that might offend the other person.
Yeah.
I
You're
call
perfect.
that I
Yeah.
call
No.
that giving
Yeah. Well,
somebody
sometimes
half
they deserve it. No, I'm kidding.
I call that sometimes giving somebody half a peace sign. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, there you go. I like that. Yeah.
So tell me more. I mean, I know though, don't compare. That was a powerful one.
Yeah.
And we get stuck doing that. Sometimes we do that in the silence of our own mind, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at something or someone, or maybe we're comparing ourselves to our own measures, like our goals, like, oh, I didn't do what I had wanted to do. And that could put us in a really kind of sucky energy in a way because we're
The funk.
yeah, the funk, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
and you're so It's so funny. So I had a friend who's reading the book and we were talking and she's like, I skipped that chapter. It didn't really apply to me. And I said, well, tell me why I don't think it applied to you. And she started telling me what she thought that chapter was about. And I said, it's actually going to surprise you when you read it. I think that just looking at the title, some people might think it's one thing, but it really comes down to the fact that, we all have a place where we think we want to be, and we compare ourselves sometimes subliminally, or even consciously to other people who are doing that same job, maybe, but we don't realize what they've gone through to get to where they are. And it's
Sure.
more about, I could say, man, I want to be like Ron. I want to be a speaker and doing what you're doing. But your chapter 12 is different to my chapter 12.
Yeah.
And so it's just really about giving yourself some grace and understanding that we're all on our own paths, and those paths are beautiful. Our stories are beautiful. And it's okay. I have a podcast with my dad that you were on, and some people have said to me, well, I don't have a story to share. I'm like, but you do, because it's your story. Like we think that we have to have this like big, amazing story that we would have had to like climb some mountain or combated some disease or, achieve some success, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like your story is your story and it's beautiful. And
And
that's what
it's
it comes down
real.
to. And
Yeah.
it's real. Yeah.
And it's like the general audience connects better, I think, than a story where somebody, yeah, they climbed Mount Everest or
Yeah.
was frostbitten halfway up and then had to get helicoptered out and like or
But
like
listen, and those are incredible. Like, listen, I'm not doing that. Like, I have zero desire to go do that. But those stories are
yeah,
incredible as well, too. Like, amazing. We know somebody who rode across the ocean. Amazing story. I'm not doing it. But
yeah,
that's the cool thing about it is that everyone has a really incredible story. I mean, I have stories of how I cut my hand open doing something silly. But it's like it doesn't have to be this massive achievement. You just have to live your life and find what makes you whole. And that's what the
yeah.
beauty of it.
That's
So.
that's perfectly said. I love that. Yeah.
Well, thanks. I mean, I appreciate everyone's story from people who, have just navigated going to college and getting a job and living that life to somebody who is biked across the country, someone like that,
Yeah.
but or biked, in India, like everyone's like, that's the thing is that everybody has their story and they're beautiful, and stop comparing yourself to somebody else. If you haven't done that, it's okay. Do you? I have a shirt that says "Do you for you by you," and I love that shirt. I wear it all the time. It reminds me that like we don't diminish your life because someone else has done more or less than you. There's always going to be people who have done more than you, make more than you, have more than you, and there's always going to be people who have done less than you, have less than you, and make less than you. And that's not what life's about. Life is about showing up as your authentic self and helping others just feel that way for themselves as well too.
And what would you say to the person that says, okay, well, I'm gonna stop comparing myself. I'm gonna do me, but yet so lost they don't even know where to begin. Like,
Yeah.
what is the song
Yep.
of the soul, right? What is that? How do you guide
Yeah.
that person?
Well, and that's like goes back to one of the other micro moves, normalize asking for help. We don't ask help enough. And I talk about having your own board of directors and not like your official board of directors, but people in your world that you trust to go to and say, hey, I just don't know what I should be doing, or I am feeling this way, or, I'm just feeling overwhelmed and lost. And we don't do that enough. We don't ask for help enough. And so if you are in a place where you're feeling like, I just don't even know, like, like I don't even know, find the people in your world to connect with, coaches like you or friends. I just had an opportunity to connect with a friend who I knew when I was 10 years old. And I think the last time we probably saw each other may have been when we were 14 or 15. And we connected now. We're in our late 40s. And we just started talking about things that are going on in our lives. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. We're talking about like the stuff that is real life stuff, like help stuff. How do you do this? How are you doing that? And it was just really cool that we just normalized asking for help.
Yeah.
And we don't do that enough. Like we find out sometimes that asking for help seems like a weakness. No, I got it all together. I've got my, can I say shit? I just did. Sorry. But
Yeah.
like sometimes we're like, oh, you've got your stuff all together. No one does. Everybody's a hot mess. Everybody is like trying to figure out life still, either raising kids or raising, a marriage or divorce or death or parents, or we're all just trying to figure out this thing of life. So just normalize that.
Yeah, I think we need to do more of that too. And I think also men. So sometimes men get conditioned early, like you can't be overly sensitive, you can't be vulnerable, your boys shouldn't cry. Like they things that, be tough.
Yeah,
You're the leader, like, you get taught like, okay, you're the strength of the family, so you can't show any weakness, right? But that's tough because then what happens is when you are going through something rough, you almost don't share. You put
yeah,
that wall up. I mean,
yeah.
that could be challenging.
Oh yeah, there was a video that was going around. It was about two gentlemen who attended Premier League football games, soccer games.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you ever saw the video. It's for like men's health and men's awareness, mental health awareness. And they'd go to the games every week, and one of the guys was always like, "Oh man, it's so much fun, this and that. We're having fun." And the other guy was a little bit more somber. And so
yeah,
you're watching this video, and you're thinking, "Oh my goodness, the guy who's somber, something's going to happen to them."
yeah,
But in reality, it's the guy who's masking it all and being like, oh, yeah, everything's great. And it's a mental health awareness commercial. And he ends up, I won't go into what happens, but no
yeah.
one ever realized that that was the person who was hurting the most.
Oh,
That was the
wow.
person who was really struggling the most. You think that what you see is a direct reflection of what someone's hurting, but in reality, we're not. We mask our feelings all of the time. It's why you see some of these actors who end up taking their lives. You're like, oh my gosh, that person seemed so happy. It seemed that they had it all together.
Yep,
And it's because we're not being real anymore. We're not sharing real thoughts and what's happening. And, we see the best of people. That's why I always appreciate when someone's like, I'm a hot mess today. Listen, there are mornings where, and I get paid to work with teams. There are mornings where I'm like, I need to scream off the bridge. I need to scream my head off. And the more that we normalize that and realize that we all have our funk, the better things will be. So.
yeah. And in some of your speaking, I know you do keynote speaking. You do some interactive uh, workshops too, or
Yes. Everything I do is interactive. So I work with
Nice.
teams in the space of leadership or customer experience or sales, but my talks are all interactive. In fact, one of my newest keynotes is just written just like the book. It's a choose your own adventure keynote. So the audience actually will decide where we go based on how they're feeling in the moment. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
I want to show up for that one.
All right,
So
it's well, you can come with me. I will tell you the first time I'm doing it's coming up, so I will have you be there. Come be my guest. I would love that. But because I've realized that I want the audience to feel like they're in control of their funk, and so we're gonna have some fun things where they get to choose. But I always start with the very first micro move, which is be the vibe, bring the vibe, because you have a choice every day of how you show up,
Mhm.
and attitude is everything, and so you have a choice of what you want to do. There has been days where I've woken up and I've been a two and I had to go speak on stage. Now,
Mm.
certainly I didn't want to go and show up and be like, oh my gosh, I just want to like cry here on stage right now. But I chose the right energy for the moment. And that's what I think if more of us did that, if we realized that we don't get a second chance to make a first impression and our funk is contagious. I talk a lot about mirror neurons. So if I was showing up right now being like crying on this call, chances are it's going to trigger something in you, Ron, right? Or if I'm going to the grocery store and I'm walking down the aisle and I've just had a really bad conversation with somebody and I'm frustrated, I don't need to spread that to other people walking down the same aisle.
Yeah,
So I channel the right energy for the moment that I'm in.
yeah, that's so important. I think part of that is like being conscious of being aware of that.
Oh, it's awareness is a huge piece of it. I have a young child, and there are days where I could have had a bad day, maybe something happened or whatever. But when I go to pick her up at school, I'm very aware that she does not need to feel that.
Yeah,
So, but awareness is a huge piece of it. It's just it goes back to like, what's your number? How you showing up?
yeah. And I love those Valentine's on your mug and on your
Oh,
shirt. And
my
it's
heart. I know.
tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so yeah, you're wearing it. Although
I
this is
know.
probably going to air maybe a few days later, but yeah, it's
Well, we take the whole month of February to be like the love month. We started years ago that I'm a huge fan of decorating and themes and all fun stuff. So my whole house I've got on my stairs red lights right now. We have a curtain of red shimmery stuff going on. We have hearts everywhere. And leading up to Valentine's Day, every night when my daughter goes to sleep, we put a heart. We have these, let me show you. I get them at the dollar store. Hang on.
mm,
So or the $1.25 store. We have these hearts And every night we write something on there that we love about her or love doing with her, and we put it on her door. So when she wakes up, she has these hearts. So tonight we do it up to Valentine's Day. But I'm a firm believer in telling people that you love them, telling
Mm.
them why you love them, reinforcing that. So I use this mug year round. It's my heart mug. I wear this shirt year round, but I'm wearing it now too because it's like, today is like the day before Valentine's Day. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love your creativity. I love how you think outside the box. I love
thank
how you're very intentional and you bring these things into, I guess, your personal life and not just on the stage, but also you're
yeah.
you're a creator. You're taking this and you're putting it out there, and that's creating change, and it's inspiring other people too.
Thank you. That's my goal is everything I do is for to make sure that other people and myself as well too, but is to feel an impact. The world is a heavy place. There is a lot of noise out there, and no one needs any more pressure on there. We actually need people to like take the pressure off of us. And so the more that we can connect and and then there's some people that you just have to let them be them. And I choose to steer clear of those people who I don't need that energy, right? There's
Yep.
not everyone that's going to appreciate my energy, and that's totally okay as well too. But there's also people I'm not going to appreciate their energy. So you have to choose like what you want. Life's too short to surround
Mm.
yourself with people who dim your light. You want
Yep.
people who help you brighten up that light. So yeah. So that's you find those people for you, and it's different for everyone. Someone who you might appreciate their light, Ron, I could be like, you know what? Maybe it's a different type of light, but at least like
Yep.
we're all finding that for each other. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we spoke about gratitude at the very beginning. We spoke about the expression of love, actually, what you shared, and I really love that. And we also spoke about other things that I think are gems of wisdom around that. How about somebody that they've got a lot of stress? Um, what about meditation or just getting out into
Yeah.
nature or stillness or anything like that? Is that something that you
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, so micro move number two is pause with purpose.
yeah.
And that's where we talk a little about that. We talk about breathing techniques, box
Mm,
breathing and slowing yourself down and getting outside. And it's something for different for everyone. My personal form of I love yoga. I love going to yoga and I love doing yoga in a studio. That's where I feel that pause. But I think everybody has to find what works for them. Is it journaling? Is it listening to something on, a meditation on tape? Is it just finding the silence? Is it walking outside and putting your feet in the grass? It's really interesting. We do, now I'm getting warm because I'm getting all fired up.
yeah.
We do a podcast. I do a podcast with my dad, and we're recording live and we don't edit it. And we had a guest recently who came on, and you could tell that she was a little frenetic, the energy was a little off. Her number was lower. And I said to her, what would make you feel like your number could go up right now, 0.25 higher? And she said, I need to get outside and put my feet in the grass. I've not been outside today. And I said, go right now. My dad and I can talk. We'll hold the podcast fort down. You know why you go do this? She's like, really? I said, yes, go outside because I could feel that she was off. And I think that if we feel those moments that we're off, we need to figure out what works for us. Sometimes for me, it's shutting all my screens down and just taking 5 minutes to close my eyes and recenter.
Yeah.
Right. But you're right. Like meditation is huge, but everyone's got to figure out like what works for them, but do something. Do
Do
something.
something.
Yeah.
Know your own secret of getting unfunked. Yeah,
Yeah, like
your
maybe it's a
instant.
30-second dance party, maybe it's sometimes it is just putting on music. Sometimes for me it's like also like just going and getting a nice piece of dark chocolate and just eating it slowly, like
Wow.
whatever that is, but figure it out for you. It doesn't have to be the same thing, but figure something out for yourself. Like I personally putting my feet in the sand, I don't get to do it enough. But that feeling, especially because we live in a place where it's like the most beautiful
Yeah.
beaches, the whitest sand that doesn't get hot. It's amazing. It's just cold to your feet. Actually, I'm going to do that sometime this weekend. I think I'm going to go put my feet in the sand because there's nothing like that. It just feels so, for me, it's grounding. But that's
Yeah.
me. It may not be
Yeah.
someone else might hate sand. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I got a visual on the feet in the sand. You just don't want to drop your dark chocolate in that. It
No, 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 no.
would
And yeah, no, I like my salted dark chocolate, but not like the
yeah.
sandy dark chocolate. Yes, there is a difference between the two of them. And now I'm craving chocolate. Now I need to go get a piece of chocolate in a second. Yeah.
Yeah. No, these are good. I mean, I call them like, what do you call it? Centering or life hacks, or you talked about
Yeah.
box breathing. That's that's something that has come up a few times because it's so simple that people can do that, right? It's yeah.
And for
So
those
those.
that don't know what that is, I mean,
Oh
I'll
yeah,
take
yeah.
a
Please
yeah.
share. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been around forever. It's like in yoga practice, breathing is there, pranayama and understanding how to breathe. They use it in SWAT teams, they use it in all different situations. But essentially, it's a rhythm of holding your breath. So you actually take a breath, a deep breath in, and some people I start with 4 seconds. Some people have gone up to 12 seconds. But you take a deep breath in and you breathe in for 4 seconds. So you're literally taking like counting, taking breathing in and counting to four, and then holding for 4 seconds, letting it out at a 4 second rapid pace, and then doing it back again, right? So you're breathing in for four, hold for four, out for four, hold for four, and then doing that again and going around the box for that. It actually triggers your mind and triggers your brain power to calm yourself down and recenter and refocus as well too. So it's pretty incredible what that can do. Which is such a simple thing to do. It's like a total of what's 16 seconds? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thanks for sharing and
Yeah.
describing that. Well, that's a great tip. I think a lot of the listeners will find that there's something that they can instantly put into
Yeah.
action.
Well, we talk all the time. People say, I don't have time, Jamie. I don't have time. I'm like, that literally takes you 16 seconds.
Yeah.
16 seconds to just reset yourself. Yeah.
I remember one time it was a teacher that was I was in a room and they were going through, I think it was like find a few things to be grateful for, like three things, five things, whatever. And my mind couldn't go into gratitude for some reason. And then she took us through the breathing technique. And as soon as we were done with that, now find those five things. It was like as if you settled with ease.
Yeah.
And then suddenly now your mind was, oh yeah, yeah, now I feel differently. And therefore it's like I unblocked my thinking process and now I can think of things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah. It's those are like you've heard probably the term like pattern interrupts or whatever it takes to do
Yeah.
something. And that's why that pause with purpose is so essential. Like we all get emotionally hijacked and we say things or we do things or actions happen without us just like pausing. And what you saw in that situation is that you paused and then you were able to actually have more clarity. And that is what happens, that we're just like going so fast all the time. And a good friend once told me, if you're going in the wrong direction, speeding up doesn't help, you know? And so if we just like paused and thought to ourselves, okay, what's really going on right here?
Mm,
You have to let go of some things too, like sometimes you pause and the reaction is to let go of some stuff and just
yeah.
let it go. And yeah, so.
Any other tips, words of advice? What about, yeah, thinking about the all the noise in the outer world when somebody's, and that's getting people divided a little bit too. So, and it's
A little bit.
sometimes even in families.
Yeah, yeah.
There's people arguing, and it's kind of, the relationship um, was somehow, what do you call it, disrupted
Hmm.
based on something external, but
Hmm.
yet within a family,
Yeah,
sometimes there's
yeah,
that. So what would you say that, because that's something that's always front and center,
yeah.
throw
I
out your
think,
TV.
yeah, and it's not only that, like I don't even think that it's like, yeah, obviously, we've seen some of that happen over the years, but I think that that could be anything. I
Yeah.
think that sometimes in life something happens, we don't agree on it, and we're starting to see more and more families, going in different directions based on those situations. And I think it just comes down to this, that, life is really short.
Mm,
And you can choose to surround yourself with people who make you feel bad about yourself, who make you feel not appreciated, who make you feel like, they don't care about you. There's a lot. My another good friend of mine used to always say to me, "Don't worry about what other people think about you. They don't think about you." And you
Yeah.
can surround yourself with people like that, or you can choose to surround yourself with people, and sometimes it's your own family, and sometimes there's breaking points. It's been a really hard lesson for me to learn that I want to surround myself with people who love me for who I am, appreciate me, want to spend time with me, want to support me, want to cheer me on. And if that's not somebody, if there's somebody in my life, whether that be family or a longtime friend, who I feel like that's not there, I don't want that in my world,
Yeah.
and it's hard to say that, but like why keep fighting the same battle? Like I don't want that negative energy. I don't want that negative space. I don't want that rent in my head. So I choose to say, you know what? And that goes back to the Mel Robbins thing, like let them be them. And I've had to make some really hard decisions in my life
Yeah.
as of recently that there's people who I don't feel support the same things that I want to support. And rather than have that constant beating your head against it all the time, I'm choosing to let go. And that would be my advice to other people is that sometimes you have to let go of the people that, maybe be the closest you're in your life, but it's so toxic that you can't do it anymore. Like you just can't do it anymore.
Yeah. And by letting them go too, that other person may eventually go through what they need to go through it on their own terms anyways.
Yeah.
Come back into your life later when they're there's emotionally more balanced, and
Yeah.
maybe later a person that's maybe a positive supporter too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that could
Yeah, like
happen.
maybe by letting go of one thing, you're making space for something else? And
Exactly.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, and we don't know. The universe is so incredible of how it works. I mean, the
Mhm.
universe really is, I am every day amazed by the things that the universe does. And I'm like, wow, I did not see that coming here. Wow, okay. Like and you have to navigate to a place where you feel funk free or the least amount of funk possible. And all these things that happen in the news, no matter what you believe on either side or both sides or three sides or whatever, or four sides, it's your own
Yeah.
funk. And so surround yourself with people that challenge you, right? Like, listen, I love to always be challenged in a good debate, but when it becomes negative energy to where I feel like it's not conducive to me feeling free and feeling unfunked, then I have to let that go as well too. So.
Good advice. Good words of wisdom.
Thanks.
And
I
we
have
can
some good
only,
mentors.
yeah, but you're right. We can only be grounded within ourselves, and
Yeah.
that sometimes we do have to set our boundaries, or yeah. So yeah, I agree with that. It's yeah.
And I listen, I love to have people who have opposing views for me all the time, but it's when it becomes negative to where it's
Mhm.
hurtful or I feel like it's not productive for positivity in my world, then I let it go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Smart. What other words of wisdom, or how about events and things that you have coming up if anybody in the local area wants to find out more about you, or yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, always follow me on social media. On Instagram, we post things all the time. On LinkedIn, there as well too. A lot of what I do are private connections or, private trainings or private keynotes. But I am on a book tour right now, and so there are some different things locally here. So I live in Lakewood Ranch, Florida, and I've got a book tour on March 1st that's happening in Waterside at Lakewood Ranch at Monkeys. It's a clothing store, boutique store, amazing store. I'm also doing something with Gecko's Hospitality Group at the end of March as well too, which is going to be super fun. But I'm also open to doing book tours. I'm going to different organizations that they're doing book clubs. I go and do that. So if that's something someone wants to do, I'd love to do that. I have a book tour or a book club virtually online happening right now. So once a month we come together and we talk about the book at different micro moves. So if you're interested in being part of that, go to the website and you can see how to get unfunked and where I'll be. I try not to put everywhere that I'll be because I don't know if you have stalkers, you don't want to do that. No,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
But really, like connect online. Like I love having conversations with people and just hearing what they're doing. If someone wants to be a guest on our podcast and share their story, you can find me via text, email, carrier pigeon, whatever.
Carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
And the website is jamiemarco.com.
Yes, you can do that, JAIME, or go to shedthefunk.com. You can get there that way as
Oh,
well too. Yeah, either way.
shedthefunk.com. I love
Yes.
that.
Hmm.
And then your Instagram is Jamie Speaks.
Yes, yes.
And your YouTube is Jaime Marco Speaks. So I'll make
Correct.
sure to include those links within the description of the video so people
Thank
can find out about you.
you.
Yeah, any last words?
I think, in this great world that we have, we just had the Super Bowl a few weeks ago, and there was a commercial and it said, America needs a good neighbor. I don't even remember who the commercial was for,
Hmm,
but it goes back to like, it's not just America, the world. We just need to be even better neighbors to each other. And I always like to say, my favorite thing I ever heard was humankind be both.
nice.
And when we do that, and we don't have to be friends with everybody, but we should just show kindness to everyone. And when we hold a door open for somebody, or we let them in traffic and we say thank you, or we just smile at somebody, the more we do that, the more we can make this world an even better place. And that's my goal is to create a world where my daughter can thrive forever and feel kindness and love and joy and respect and know that, yes, we're all very different, but we're also all a lot alike at the same time. So let's just show more kindness.
Oh, beautiful words. And
Thank-
the
Thanks for
book,
doing this.
they can do that. They can get this on your website or on Amazon, or how would they?
Yeah, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I'm actually going to be doing a Barnes and Noble book signing as well too. In the coming weeks. I don't have the date finalized yet, but yeah, you can go Barnes and Noble, Amazon.com. It's not on my website. It's primarily being sold on Amazon. And then at the end of this year, if somebody wants to stay connected, we have the kids version coming out, which will be for readers 8 through 12. And it's a really great, it's unfunked for kids. I'm super stoked about that as well too. But stay connected, get on my newsletter, whatever it is, just be an unfunked, become part of the movement.
Become part of the movement. And
Yes.
Jamie, one last question. I wanted to wait to the end of the episode for this question.
Oh.
What's your number?
Ooh, oh my goodness. I'm like a good 8.5 right now, Ron. I'm like an 8.5. Like I went from I have doubled my number today. Thank you for being a part of that. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on the show, Jamie. It's been a
Yeah.
pleasure. It's been exciting. I'm sure we could probably do this again sometime in the future
Oh
and
my
share
gosh.
some more words.
I
Yeah.
just realized that in the background, my two mascots were here. I totally forgot that they're here. Hold on, let me go tell these for you.
Okay.
So, really fast. So we're doing a talk this weekend in Orlando for a group of kids, and we're talking about how you have funk.
Oh,
So you have
wow.
funk,
There's that
or
lightning
you
bolt coming out
have
of the sky. Yeah.
Spark, yeah. And so this is part of the kids book that's coming out. There's two characters, Funk and Spark. And my daughter's friend's the illustrator, so he illustrated this for us. So shout out to Nico. But um I showed you this because it's like we have that, like the angel and devil every day. We've got our funk and our spark. So we get to choose what we want to do. We want to spark other people or add more funk. We don't want to do that. So yeah. So I thought they were there. Thought I'd show those to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. And yeah, I really appreciate this.
Oh,
And
I'm the one that appreciates it. I'm grateful. Thank you.
we'll be catching up soon. And again, thank you.
Thank you.